I told you, motherfuckers. What did you just watch? I only speak the facts.
All right, Steven, what's your reaction to his victory? Terence Crawford was sensational. What's your reaction?
Not surprised. I'm picking the win by decision coming in this fight. Watching Canelo, seeing his career, expected he wasn't going to get knocked out, especially by the smaller man. But did Crawford have enough power and boxing skill to keep Canelo off of him to some degree? For the most part, that answer was yes. But then he stepped in there and he exchanged back and forth on several occasions and survived and prospered. And I got to give credit where credit is due. I picked him to win by decision, but I never expected and put on masterful performances because he was so superior skill-wise and defensively. You can't say enough. Tonight with Crawford, for example, we saw him take a punch on several occasions. With Floyd, we didn't see that too often.
What go from here? Does he continue at 168 or does he go back down to 154?
I think he goes back down to 154. The Charlos of the world, fight them.
Sebastian Fundora.
But I don't think he stays at super middleweight unless he wants to fight David Benavidez, and I don't think anybody wants to fight him.
Absolutely. Is he better than Floyd Mayweather right now?
I'm not going to sit up here and say that. I think that Floyd Mayweather was such a magician defensively. And we have to look at Floyd Money Mayweather in this regard. Once he moved up to welterweight, his hands were always damaged. So he kind of knew he wasn't going to be able to knock you out for the most part. And still, he walked into the ring.
All right, fellas. Now, Canelo and Crawford finally just faced off. And what a fight it was. The almost fantasy-like matchup did come true, and we just saw two of the greatest of our time share the ring. Going into this fight, there were so many questions. Would Crawford adapt to the weight? And would he be able to take Canelo's power? And for Canelo, could he put on that statement performance and silence all that had criticized his last few fights? And well, we certainly got all the answers. So I want to break down what just happened in the fight. What does this performance mean for both? And of course, the question of what's next. But just quickly, if you love boxing, you're in your one-stop shop. My name's Closter, and I make boxing videos as things happen to keep you informed. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll always keep you in the loop. Now, going back a second, Fight Week didn't really bring up anything super unexpected. It was pretty much business as usual. And that's why I didn't end up covering it, because there was nothing huge to note, except that the size difference between the two wasn't that large after all. Both looked the same size, and both did look in incredible shape. You could tell these were two athletes who had dedicated their lives to being the best. The respect between the two, even in the pre-fight stare-downs, was palpable. It showcased the level of commitment each of them possessed. The venue for this fight was pretty impressive. This was the first ever boxing fight at the Allegiant Stadium. They packed tens of thousands of fans in, and it absolutely looked fantastic. The atmosphere was electric. You could feel the anticipation hanging in the air. It elevated the entire experience, showcasing the global appeal of these two incredible fighters. Now, the undercard overall was so-so. Some great fights, yet some stink.
Inspiration can you take from someone like Terence?
I take everything from I've been around him since I was a kid, and just watching that greatness definitely rubbed off on me, and you see where I'm going. And I appreciate him for allowing me to be a part of this journey.
Yeah.
Because without him, I feel like I don't even know if I'll be here, so I appreciate him.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers, cool.
But outside the main event, probably the most entertaining was the Imbi Martinez fight. So it's worth a watch if you did miss it. But undercard aside, everyone was only there for the main event. After months of hype and anticipation, the moment finally arrived. Crawford and Canelo standing across from each other with only the referee Thomas Taylor in between. The tension was so thick, you could cut it with a knife. It was a visual representation of years of dedication, of dreams and aspirations colliding in that one moment. The opening rounds were tense, with both fighters settling into a rhythm. Canelo, known as a notorious slow starter, did go to the body early, while Crawford's southpaw jab kept him in control of the distance. It was a fascinating chess match, a careful dance of feints and calculated movements. The first few rounds were close, but Crawford's sharper counters and combination seemed to give him the edge early on, even as Canelo tried to impose himself with those heavy body shots. You could see Canelo trying to work his way inside, trying to establish that signature pressure, but Crawford was just too elusive to skilled at controlling the range. By the middle rounds, the pace did pick up. Canelo continued digging into Crawford's ribs, and Crawford, he was countering beautifully. You could see the precision, the artistry in Crawford's shots. Each one placed perfectly, disrupting Canelo's rhythm and keeping him off balance. Canelo did have a better round in the 5th, but Crawford, not liking this, came out in the 6th looking to retake control. He knew he had to impose himself to stop Canelo's forward momentum, and that he certainly did. He wasn't going to let Canelo dictate the pace. He was going to make Canelo fight his fight. As the fight wore on, Crawford's precision started to separate him from Alvarez.
Right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Saúl, ¿cómo estás? Buenas noches. Acá Enrique Veas de este lado. Oye, Saúl.
He peppered Canelo with sharp combinations, finding success on the inside and timing his left hand beautifully. It wasn't just about landing single shots. It was about stringing them together, about controlling the flow of the fight. An accidental clash of heads opened up a cut over Crawford's right eye in the 9th, giving Alvarez a glimmer of hope. But Bud remained composed. You could see the focus in his eyes, the determination to overcome this setback. He wasn't going to let a little cut derail his plan. In the championship rounds, Crawford's confidence was clear, trading with Canelo on the inside, countering effectively and walking him into shots. It was a testament to his skill, his courage. He wasn't afraid to stand toe-to-toe with one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. By the 12th, it was obvious Canelo needed a knockout, but the moment never came. Crawford kept him at bay, landed crisp counters, and closed the show strong. He was in control, dictating the pace, and leaving no doubt about who was in charge. After 12 rounds, the scorecards told the story. 116 to 112, 115 to 113, 115 to 111, a unanimous decision. Terence Crawford defeated Canelo Alvarez to become the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. A historic moment as Bud cements his legacy by taking down the man who many consider to be the face of boxing. It's a moment that will be replayed and analyzed for years to come. Crawford proved all his critics wrong. He took Canelo's power, stood there and traded with him, and had huge success in controlling the range. It was a performance that showcased his complete skill set, his unparalleled ring IQ. It was a competitive fight, but personally, I think Bud was the clear winner. Although Canelo did look better than he did against Bivol, in my—
With the resume you have now.
Listen, Floyd was the greatest in his era. I'm the greatest in my era. It ain't no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me.
You talk the talk and you sure walk the walk. Your confidence and aura is on another level.
This performance had shades of the Bivol performance. Canelo just struggled to catch Bud. Unless Canelo was standing there trading with him, Bud was just as slick and was able to evade much of what Canelo was trying to do. He wouldn't get stuck on the ropes. He wouldn't get stuck in the corner. His lateral movement, like against Bivol, just frustrated Canelo. Although unlike Bivol, his movement combined with his superior skills and willingness to even stand there and trade at times was his recipe to victory. This was the fight we all hoped for. A competitive bout which answered all of our questions. Yet, simply put, Crawford outboxed Canelo. Really, not much more is needed to be said. But the bigger picture here, and what's going to be replayed endlessly, is the shift in the boxing landscape. Crawford didn't just beat Canelo. He fundamentally altered the narrative. For years, Canelo was the unchallenged king, the standard bearer. Now, he's facing a new reality. He's not the undisputed and touchable force he once was, and Crawford in one night ascended to a position of unparalleled significance. It's not just about the win, it's about what that win represents. It's about a fighter often operating outside the mainstream spotlight, stepping into the biggest stage and not just competing, but dominating. And that's something that will resonate throughout the sport for years to come. You have to appreciate, too, the sheer tactical brilliance Crawford displayed. It wasn't just about power. It was about precision, timing, and an almost preternatural ability to anticipate Canelo's movements. He didn't just throwing punches. He was conducting an orchestra of controlled aggression. And the fact that he managed to do this against a fighter of Canelo's caliber, a fighter renowned for his power and relentless pressure, speaks volumes about Crawford.
Terence, when did you know that you were going to beat him? Over here on your left.
When he signed the contract.
He seemed to focus mostly on body punches, and you were hitting him in the head a lot.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the moment, but it's equally important to acknowledge the meticulous preparation and unwavering focus that went into this victory. Now, the million-dollar question, or perhaps the multi-million-dollar question, is what's next? The sports executives will be salivating at the prospect of a rematch. And frankly, from a purely commercial standpoint, it's the most logical move. The numbers from this fight were undoubtedly phenomenal. A clash of this magnitude, featuring two of the biggest names in boxing, is a guaranteed box office draw. And with Canelo's involvement, particularly his signature with Riyadh season, the promotional potential is immense. The Saudis are invested in elevating boxing, and they're willing to pay a premium to do so. They want to bring in the absolute biggest names to create a spectacle, and Canelo versus Crawford delivered just that. The rematch would eclipse even this initial showing, further solidifying the sport's resurgence on a global scale. However, let's not simplify the equation. Crawford now holds the upper hand. He's earned the right to dictate the terms, to select his opponent, and to command a significant purse. This is a seismic shift in power dynamics. For years, Canelo has been in the driver's seat, controlling the narrative and cherry-picking his fights. Now, Crawford has the leverage. He can choose to chase the biggest payday, or he can opt for a different challenge. He could strategically select an opponent who will showcase his skills and further solidify his legacy. The choice is his, and that's a position he's rightfully earned. The potential for other contenders certainly adds another layer of intrigue. Hamza Shar's The Riyadh Season Darling is a name that's gaining traction. The promoters clearly see something in him, and his recent knockout of Balonga only amplified his—
just made like a whole resume of stuff tonight.
It means a lot to me because, you know, anybody can be a nobody, like I said, you know, and that's all they say I've been fighting is nobodies. So what can they say now? Somebody tell me, what can you say now?
And say congratulations.
That's it.
He represents the future of boxing, the next generation of stars. The question is he ready for a fight against either Crawford or Canelo? It's a significant leap in competition, and the risk of being exposed is substantial. But promoters often take calculated risks, and Scharz's popularity and perceived potential make him a tempting option. Then there's the intriguing possibility of a Bivol rematch. The trilogy was seemingly shelved, but Bivol's recovery from surgery could open up new avenues. Of course, he's got to move down in weight, which is never an easy feat. But the potential for a Crawford versus Bivol clash, showcasing to contrasting styles, is undeniably compelling. Both fighters possess a unique blend of skill and grit, and the fight would be a strategic battle of wits. It's a fascinating prospect, and one that could generate significant interest. And what about Billy? The opportunity evaporated with his own fight outcome, and frankly, a bout between him and either Crawford or Canelo would likely be a one-sided affair. That's not a recipe for excitement. It's a recipe for disappointment. Some fights just aren't meant to be, and it's best to recognize that and move on. The interesting thing about Crawford's victory, beyond the immediate ramifications, is how it forces us to reassess our perceptions of greatness. For years, we're told who the best is, what to believe, and how to perceive the sport. And Crawford's performance was a powerful reminder that preconceived notions can be shattered in an instant. This win wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. It was a declaration that greatness isn't confined to a single individual, that opportunities exist for those who possess the skill and dedication to seize them. It's easy to get lost in the spectacle, the dazzling displays of athleticism, and the raw emotion of the moment. But it's equally important to acknowledge—
Consider this your signature win of your career, or is there another win that means more to you?
No, for sure, this is definitely a signature win. You know, moving up 2 weight classes, being the B-side, fighting a guy that's been undefeated in the division, undisputed, going to take all his titles, you know, doing everything that I—
element, the years of relentless training, the sacrifices made, and the unwavering belief in oneself. Crawford's journey is an inspiring testament to the power of perseverance, the importance of self-belief, and the possibility of achieving greatness even when the odds are stacked against you. The sport now stands at a crossroads. The established order has been disrupted, and the landscape has been irrevocably altered. And as we look ahead, the possibilities seem endless. New stars will emerge, new rivalries will be forged, and new chapters will be written in the ongoing saga of boxing. And while we can never predict the future with certainty, one thing is clear: Terence Crawford's victory over Canelo Alvarez will be remembered as a pivotal moment in the history of the sport. It was a night of celebration, a night of revelation, and a night that will inspire generations to come. The reverberations of this victory will be felt far beyond the confines of the boxing ring. It's a reminder that anything is possible, that dreams can be realized, and that even the most daunting challenges can be overcome with hard work and determination. And as we celebrate Crawford's triumph, let us also take a moment to appreciate the beauty, the drama, and the enduring power of the sport that has captivated us for generations. It was a demonstration that the hunger for boxing is still well alive, and that we've still much to look forward to. The reverberations of this victory will be felt far beyond the confines of the boxing ring. It's a reminder that anything is possible, that dreams can be realized, and that even the most daunting challenges can be overcome with hard work and determination. And as we celebrate Crawford's triumph, let us also consider, will this moment reshape our understanding of greatness, or simply serve as a fleeting spectacle in a sport constantly redefined?